Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. I know I didn't do my countdown, and we really didn't advertise that much for today because we wanted to come on and just talk about a little bit about how our feelings are about what's going on right now with the peaceful with not riots, peaceful protest, and all the things that's happening in the United States right now, really around the world, because I've seen that they have videos of people around the world doing protests and really showing their love for the African American community here in America. I did put out a flyer today just to see if people could come on and kind of talk about their feelings about it, their truths about it, and just have just a healthy conversation in general about our community. Um, so I did. One girl, she she graciously accepted my invitation. Her name is Isis. She's part of the Brown and Healthy community that I'm a part of. And we're just gonna have a little girl chat just about our feelings about the Black community, really what's going on with the riots and how we feel about everything. And we might have a few other people pop in later on when they get a chance to come on, but we just wanted to come to you guys and, just talk about it and put our voice out there. That's the least that we can do um, in this time because I'm not able to go to the protests and everything because I do have a young child and my husband works during the day. So I'm not able to go out there and be a part of it, but um, speak my voice on everything. So thank you, Brandy. She said she loved my shirt. So everybody, welcome Isis. It's our first time here on Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. Hi,
Hi
ma'am.
everyone. Hi.
I can't hear you.
You can hear
Oh,
me?
there you go. Yep, I can hear you now. It's kind of a lag a little bit.
That's fine.
Oh, there it is. It fixed itself. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are so they can kind of know where you're coming from in regards to how you feel about what's going on right now.
Sure. So for me, like I'm Hispanic, but I'm part Dominican. So obviously I'm part of the Afro Latina community. So we're all black essentially. And I feel like even though there's like a lot of issues going on, especially like with police brutality, but I feel like it's more than just that because racism is within someone's heart. It's not
Yes.
who's behind the uniform. It's not who this person or that person. It's just like a regular human being.
Right.
So there is racism outside of America within our community as well, Latino and
Yeah.
Latina community. So it's harder for us, like when what we experience at home or from like generational curses to like, what our parents went through from that. And then as long like going out there in society, that's already like a double threat. It's like
Right.
double pressure. It's like you don't feel like sometimes you're within that, your own community, within your home or whatever it is,
Yeah.
versus like when you're out there as
Right.
well. So you're just like in this like your own little bubble where you're just essentially stuck
Yeah.
like where do I go, where do I feel safe, who do I associate
Yes.
myself with, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That does make sense. And like I was telling you before we went live, even though I'm black, both parents are black, I grew up very sheltered. So, and I didn't grow up in the hood or where people think all black people grew up in, you know what I mean? I grew up in a very healthy home environment. I had both parents. My mom did not allow us to speak any slang. So even though I grew up in New Orleans, I didn't have that New Orleans accent, so I always felt like I was different and I was treated differently, by the black community. But I kind of fell into as I grew up and I found my black community, like the people that accepted me, and I didn't have to feel like I had to fit in some kind of, um, I guess you say, because a lot of black. Well, in our black community, it's like you have to know certain things or go through some of the things to be
Right.
black, right? But we know we all don't have the same experiences. Some similar ones and some things we can't help, like the racism that happens. You can't help that because of the color of your skin or your features or because you're not, certain, well, have certain features. So you're going to be looked at
Exactly.
or treated differently. no matter, what part of the African line you're from, whether you're Afro Latina, African American, pretty much all over the world, you're treated a certain way. So I feel like that's pretty much unite the black community, but not necessarily experiences we have in life, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
just tell me, how did you feel when you first saw the video? Um,
I honestly couldn't finish watching it because like it was like I was like, all right, what's going on right now? Like I was like traumatized because it's like they're filming someone essentially dying
yeah.
in broad daylight. So I just put my phone down and like I had to like recuperate for
Yeah.
a little bit
What do
because
you think you would have did anything different than the person videoing if you were there?
I mean, it's a tough situation because like if you're the person recording it, like you want to help out, you want to
Yeah.
do something, but then you don't know how these officers or whoever is right around that person going to react to you.
Right.
So your
Because,
life is essentially could be in danger too.
yeah. And it could have been far worse. It could have been
Exactly.
two people that's not here anymore other than just one. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I think the best thing they could have done was just video, because even if they tried to help, then it could have been spun around. Well, they tried to assault an officer, and then that would have gave them something to um, use against the whole case. So it's just one of them things that you can't do anything. And I think that's the feeling that everybody, a lot of people feel, just like, what really can we do? Because like you said, racism is in the hearts of people, and their generation is teaching their next generation. And then, when does it stop? Because I know I have a 3-year-old, and I don't want to be having these protests 20 years from now, when she's 23.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's just like one of those things where like it's imprinted like as a child. Like for me, like growing up, like I have like curly hair, but
Hmm.
like, you know, I guess like certain like family members, especially like on the Dominican side of the family, or like even just like some Dominicans in general, like they always want their hair straightened out
Yeah.
all the time because that's considered good hair,
Yeah.
or they want to be
Same.
like their oppressors or whatever it is. But it's like, but that this is who we are. Like this is our
Yeah.
hair. Like let's embrace that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's embrace who we are as a person.
And
Like,
that
why are
does
you
go
teaching
back.
that to like a
Right.
child? And that creates self-esteem issues, and it doesn't make you like yourself. And it's like, why am I this way? And then you want to change it to a whole different person, and you
Yeah.
have negative standpoints in life. So it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And I feel like it all starts like in the home and the
Right.
environment in the home, in which you carry on in that
Yeah. And I
environment.
don't I don't really think a lot of parents realize, like, certain things, because they're doing what they're taught to do. Or they, especially, I feel like our parents, I don't know if your parents, probably around the same age as my parents, or within the 40-50 range. Um they grew up in a different world, so they had to comply kind of to what society wanted them to be, because they wouldn't be able to get the jobs that they can get, or stuff like that. And I feel like our generation coming up, and now we have Gia coming in. Hi, Gia, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We're just having a conversation about a little bit of everything, so just jump in. I'm trying to finish my thought. What was I talking
Okay, what were you?
about?
Just give me kind of an
Just
idea
pretty
what you're talking about.
we're just pretty much talking about where the idea of us having issues, when started from the home when we're younger, like how our hair being different, and how we have to fit into society, and kind of finish with that Western beauty of straightening our hair and looking different, um, and just trying to fit in to what everybody wants us to
Okay.
fit into.
Okay. Well, I do. If I think about growing up, so I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and so beauty to me was communicated through being thin and having straight hair, and your skin being lighter than mine, of course. Um, and so even today, I still struggle with my weight. Not having the body that I think a potential husband is looking for, or that I can be happy with because of what I've learned as a child. And even the media itself. I remember using a product. What was it? It was a Shea product, and understanding in school that the product was mainly used on lighter people's skin color hair. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I don't know the product. And it's just things like that. But I realized that having to change my mentality, because I also have 3 young boys who are Black and who have hair that's different. It's different than mine, but like them learning to, like, if I have to teach them how to be proud, and I have to be proud of myself first.
And Isis,
So
she has 3 beautiful mixed children. So they kind of fall in where you fall in, where it's kind of, stuck in between cultures.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you kind of, so we get back, because I know we're gonna be all over the place today. Um, to get back, how are you handling what's going on right now with the protests and everything?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So I feel many different ways where I definitely support my community, my culture. Um, it's a terrible, words can't even describe how terrible it is. Trying to explain that to my children has been very hard. Being the fact that they're both Black and white, explaining what they've seen on TV, because my oldest one is the one that showed me the video. And so while I want to stand up for my community, I think there's a couple of protests I've been invited to. I'm not able to go out there in the position that I am to support the Black culture, my Black culture, but I'm here at home supporting them, teaching my children that the difference between protesting calmly, I guess is the word. I don't know the exact word I'm trying to
The
use.
peaceful protest.
Peaceful, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Peaceful protest, because it is very important that we, as a Black community, make our voices known. And I feel like that's a way to do it. We also have many platforms now that we can do that instead of going out and be doing a protest or peaceful protest. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I can do that. My oldest son, though, however, wants to participate with one in our community college, and I am going to allow him to do that.
And what's that program, just in case the one in Baltimore?
We're still looking for approval first, but it's through the community college, Baltimore Community College. The alumni are going to go out there, and we're going to do a peaceful protest in the back of the school, if possible. We have to get the okay first.
Okay. Okay. Isis, did you think about going to any of the protests?
I feel like for me, like right now, I'm not comfortable around cops. And since I'm like the only person living up here because I just moved to the DMV like 10 months ago.
Oh, you're close to us.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't, like if they're like acting violently around me and I'm trying to do peaceful protests, I'm trying to watch out for like my life too as well. But I feel like the most important thing, because I feel like for me, it's like, yeah, like you can go out and protest, but it's like, I feel like not many people are educated in the community.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Or like they don't try to like ask like people of minorities, like, hey, what's your experience with this? How can we help? How can we help you experience that?
We have a question. Do you feel it's important to get them involved, especially now? I guess she's talking to Gia about her children.
I do. I believe that a lot of our children, I guess, I was just looking up Generation Z children, they already come with that ability to express themselves and to understand that we're all equal. And so I believe that this generation of children don't understand what's happening, because we as millennials has raised our children to
Kind of accept.
everybody's
Yeah.
equal. Yes, and accept and be expressive of how we feel and express respect people's space, um, and see no color. Um, I don't know if that's the exact word I would use, but to love each other as
Together.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, as is. No, let me rephrase that. But to love each other as is. And I feel like having to go and sit down with them and explain that there is this brutality, because my children don't know. They've never experienced, that I know of, experienced any type of racial brutality. My
Have you
computer is doing something. Sorry. Okay.
Have you
Um,
had any racism experiences?
I have. So I say this with no, I just say this as the truth. I was married to um, a Caucasian man, and I experienced a lot of racism throughout the marriage. Mom, can I have a device? Sorry, 1 second. Okay.
It's so funny. I knew they couldn't stay out the room. Isis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I thought you was frozen because you was
Okay.
just smiling.
I'm here.
I'm sorry. I told them that they had to be quiet, but that didn't work out too well. What was I saying? I forgot.
You grew up. I mean, you were in a interracial
Yes, yes,
marriage.
yes.
Yeah.
I was in an interracial marriage, and so I would hear things like, um, "You're overly sensitive about your blackness," and or I would be called certain names when they would get in an argument, things like that. So that's the type of
Him or his
brutality that my
family?
children, all of everyone,
Everybody.
the family, and so that's the only experience that my children have seen.
Got you.
And so that is something that is so degrading that it makes you feel like the bottom of the dirt on somebody's shoe.
Yeah.
And so I don't really talk about that too much, but I feel like it's very important to talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, there's, I just always felt like not good enough because of my skin color. I wasn't treated the same as everyone in that family. And so that became one of the reasons that I had to leave the relationship as well,
Yeah.
because he did express that he didn't express that he was racist, but the way that he acted was.
Yeah. Have you experienced anything on your end, Isis, or either you or a friend or experience?
I feel like within like my culture, like sometimes there are like slurs of like, oh, like, why, are you dating this person? Oh, this person, like I had like my first person like I fell in love with, like he was Haitian. So
Hmm.
like when some people found out I was dating like a Haitian, they were like, whoa,
Yeah.
as well. There was that issue. And then also like I've like witnessed some things that I felt like it wasn't right. So when I lived in Orlando, like I got interviewed for like a social media marketing intern position.
Hmm.
And when I got into the building, there was no diversity whatsoever. I think it was mainly like white and then
Hmm.
Asian. So I
Gotcha.
was the only like brown skinned girl in there. So like I felt like I didn't know whether it was because I didn't do well in the interview because I was nervous or because of the fact that I didn't feel like a sense of belonging or
Yeah.
like a community, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
That's
then certain times when I go to a store, like I get looked at.
yeah. I mean, that's a big thing. I think we all had that experience where people just kind of following you or just looking at you differently. You know what I mean? When you go into a store, um, my first time experiencing racism, because like I said, I grew up in a home where I was really sheltered. My parents kept me from a lot of things. Because that's what they thought was right. You know what I mean? Like, no
Right,
fault at them. They just wanted to keep us protected, but we already know that you can't protect your child from everything
right.
because they're going to eventually experience some things. So when I was coming home one night, I said this Sunday. I was coming home one night from braiding a friend's hair, and I'm a photographer, so I had all my equipment in the back because I was working for a company at the time. And it was had to be like 2 o'clock because we all know braids take a long time. So it was late, and he pulled me over and said I was doing like a 32 or something like that in the 30. BS pretty much. Right? And I was a little irritated, and at the time I was taking medication. I don't know about for what, but if I didn't take it in time, I would get nauseous or sick. So I wasn't feeling well anyway. So I asked him, can I, just step out because I was getting a little dizzy while waiting because he was taking forever to do whatever. He was probably trying to pull up something on me. But I was young. I was in my early 20s. I want to say 20, 21, 22, just early 20s. Um, and so, he was like, okay. So I stepped out the car and he was like, well, sit down in the car. I don't want you stepping out of the car. I'm like, I just asked you, can I get out the car? Because I wasn't
Right.
feeling well. So I just sat there, and then he told me to get back in the car. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. So, of course, I got an attitude because he had an attitude with me. And, if I would have known if anything would have happened to me, I probably would have treated it a little differently. But I was just irritated. I'm like, why he's treating me like this? Because remember, I grew up in a home where I never experienced this. So I didn't understand. Like, I don't understand. I'm being nice. Why you have an attitude towards me? This is ridiculous. And so he told me what he was gonna write me up for, or a ticket for, and then I had my plates that fell off. So I had the front plate in the front. It fell off that day, and he was like, "And I'm gonna write you up because your plate is not on the front of your car." And I'm like, "It fell off today. Like I didn't even get a chance to put it back on." Um, and I was like, "Whatever. Just give me the, just give me the, just give me the ticket so I can go home." Because I was literally
Mhm.
like 2 minutes from my home. Sorry, my thing went down. About 2 minutes from my home, and he was still just being so irritated. So I took the thing out of his hand. And he was like, "You know what? You better be careful because I could literally shoot you right now." And I'm like, it just stopped everything. I'm like, did he just say that to me? Like I was just so confused. He was looking at my car with a thing. What is all this in the back of your car? I'm like, I'm a photographer. Like thinking, why are you even asking me this? So when I got home, I was just trying to process everything. I'm like, what is going on? Like I gave a ticket, I left, I got home, and I was kind of shaken because I just didn't understand what really happened. And my dad had to take me down, sit me down, have the conversation with me, and say, you just have to be careful and stuff like this. And I was in my 20s, and he told me about his experience where it was mistaken identity, and he almost got arrested because somebody they was trying to say he was somebody that he wasn't. So that was just my first big okay, something is going on, and I was in my 20s. So that was my experience. And this is yeah, and this is my other friend Isis that's Afro Latina as well. Hi Rena. So the other thing is like the conversation is how do we, because we are um millennials, and I think Generation Z, I think that's after millennials. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Um
Mhm.
how do we start the conversation or try to be better than the generations before? Like, what does that even look like? You know what I mean?
I think it's just like communication and not sugarcoating anything. I feel like a lot of people just want something swept under the rug. And instead of like facing the reality of things and just trying to accept each other for who we are as a person, instead of like following those like generational curses of what's going on in our society.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I also feel like it's really important to those around us that are not African American or Black, trying to help them, to educate them as to, while I think it's very difficult for them to understand, I think that they can learn to empathize if we have that discussion with them, um, because it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it can be done in a loving manner. And I think that that's the biggest thing with the Black culture, is that what we really want is for you to understand what we're going through and to help us break down these oppressions that are keeping us behind from going ahead. um, with education, with jobs, and being respected for who we are. I think if we have that conversation, I know that a lot of non-Black people are willing to sit down, and if we can help them understand it, instead of seeming like we're attacking them because they don't understand.
Right.
I think that that would help a lot, because for me, when I begin to explain things to, I'll just use my ex-husband as an example. If I begin to explain these things, he begins to feel attacked. And I think that helping them understand that, hey, I just want you to understand what it is that we're going through and your children are going through, so that we can help them get to the next place and help maybe their friends or somebody else that they know that's going through this rejection. Because I feel that that's a lot of the things that we go through is rejection for who we are. And I think just opening up the table and having that discussion with people that are not Black, that would help a lot.
Yeah. And I also think we need to, as our generations, start to try to break generational curses. Like you said earlier, Isis, you know, it it started from a place where a lot of them, even Afro Latina and African Americans, we all started from someplace. Like our ancestors started from Africa, and we were treated like they didn't matter. That's why they was able to sell them and distribute us pretty much all over the world, and that's why you have so many mixed cultures, and and we're everywhere. Brown people and black people, we're everywhere because they distribute us everywhere. So we just have to regain back our strength and kind of break those generational curses or those feelings that we're less than. And once we start building that up in our own communities, because it first has to start with us, have to start instead of making each other feel less than, or once we get to a certain place or stepping on our own people, we need to start building our own people up. Okay, I figured this out. Let me help you figure this out. Let me train you. Let me help you. And sometimes, I know a lot of times when people figure something out, you have to pay them to get the information. We have to have somewhere in our communities, we have to have some place where we can share the informations because other cultures do it. They do it for free so their people can start building generational wealth and build some kind of what do I want to say, like sense of, what am I trying to say, just sense of purpose in this world. You know what I mean? Instead of teaching each other, and like I said, I didn't come, but I know a lot of people that just teach you how to stay on the system, or how to get instead of give and build, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I think absolutely, I agree, Elena, because a lot of us, we do have the opportunity to learn in our culture, and a lot of us are also, like Isis said, in our own community, kind of shunned for our education because we made it to this level. You're that has been my experience, is like, oh, they believe that you talk proper, so you're from a different category than we are, so you don't understand where we're coming from, when in reality is, I want to take you there. Let me take you there. I can help you get here, because we all have something. We all need something from each other.
Yeah.
I need to know the economics of where they come from, so I can help them, and they give me that knowledge. And in turn, it's, yes, like you said, we have to be able to go back. It's not about selling what we know. It's about growing what we know in our community and creating emotional stability, that, because I believe our wealth starts with the mind. If you're well in your mind, then you have the ability to do many things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I believe, like, I learned through experience. I think experience is the best teacher. So it's like, I mean, like, I live in a house where it's mostly like non-minorities, and they support whatever's going on. But I feel like for me, I don't know if it's a big deal, but like I feel like not once have they reached out and texted me saying, "Hey, Isis, how do you feel about this situation? What is your experience with what's going on? Like, how does this affect you? You know, you're marching out there, but it's like, do you really know what you're marching for, or is it just like a trend? Or you're sharing donation links and you're sharing all these things, but you have someone that's in a minority group in your house that you can learn from and experience from, I think. But I feel like if you have like non-minority people that you know, I feel like we should all like talk to each other, like
Yeah.
reassure each other that we're gonna be okay. Like, what can I do? If you need something, let me know. It's okay. Things like that.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. This has been good, ladies. I know we were going for 30 minutes. That went fast. But I feel like it's just a lot of growth. Um, and I feel like this, what's going on right now, is going to take years. It's not going to take months. It's not going to take a few days. And, you know, I hope people who's out there protesting and the forefront of the movement that they don't lose steam. And I pray that they don't lose steam. Like, we have to really, as a community, pray for those people that's really on the forefront and fighting for us. We got to pray that they stay strong because this is going to take years. Um,
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I
yeah,
was thinking that whatever this change is going to come about, we might not even see the end. This is going to take decades to change if we, but it has to be consistent.
yeah,
And that's one of the biggest things that I worry about too is like, don't let go of steam, like keep it up. Let's go,
yeah,
you know, because there's a lot of times where we have that support and we have people that feel so passionately about it. And then it just dies in a month or so.
yeah, because they don't see the
And then we're
progress
back.
yet.
Right.
Yes, there's no progress. Yeah, there's no results. So they just think, oh, nothing. It's
We
going to remain the
tried.
same. Yeah, and
Right.
that's not. It's going to take. It took years to get here, so it's going to take years to, and God's help mostly.
Yeah, yeah, and I also believe like while those people are um, fighting the government and speaking up for us in the political sense, because like I told Isis before, I'm not a political person. I don't know what's going on in politics. I don't know. I just know how I'm feeling about it. And we just have to find ways in our community, smaller groups, how we can build, learn, and share and kind of help other communities learn more about us. And I can say, out of all the communities out there, the Black community is the most we accept a lot of people. Like, we're not going to, if you come around us, we're not going to treat you any type of way.
Right.
We're going to be happy. We're going to, we're just a happy people, and we're passionate. And sometimes our passion gets construed as anger, but just because I'm passionate about something or I'm speaking in a tone because I'm angry, that don't mean I'm going to be violent. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just one of those things where we just have to see how we can grow as a community as we teach other communities that we're 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 not that bad as you might have been taught growing up. We're not as scary. We're not just people waiting to rob, steal, and kill you. Like, we are people that we're survivors. We're strong. Like, no matter what people throw at us, we're gonna make it into something that's great for us. You can give us scraps and we can turn it into gold. That's the kind of people that we are. We're strong people. Thank you.
Yes, and we have to believe it. We got to believe in ourselves more.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if y'all have been to the African American Museum, the National African
Oh,
American Museum. Have you been?
yes.
To me, everybody was in there sad, and I was inspired because even though they took us away from our homes, our ancestors took our ancestors from our homes and dispersed us everywhere. I don't believe that we're not the um, not ancestors. We're not the generations from the people who died on a boat. we're the generations from the survivors. We're from the generations from the strong people. So if they think that we're weak, we're not. We're the strong. We're the generations of the strong people that kept moving, that kept pushing, that's still here, that kept fighting. And I think they're scared and afraid, and I think that's why we're seeing more and more of this that's going on, because they're afraid that that exchange of power is going to happen, and they're afraid to lose that power.
Exactly. Like I feel like why would you deny that? Like we are like warriors inside.
Yeah,
We are like hustlers, or like we do what we have to do to keep going, to keep fighting every
right.
single day.
Every single day, like my ancestors made it through the boats. They made it through the fields. They made it through the civil rights era, and we're still here, and we're still growing. And you know, yeah, some people started, or they started introducing drugs and stuff in our communities to weaken us, but we still have fighters and people that still get through that. You know what I mean? They still try to give us less income, but we still take with that and still grow from that. So I am inspired, and I know that, you know, we're going somewhere. Like there it is a movement, and I must say it's going to start with women of color, because we are on a move. We're going to be there for our black men and our men of color, but the women of color, like, we are strong, man. We're the backbone. So I'm just inspired. I'm happy to be a black woman, and I'm happy to be right now in this time to be a black woman, because you know, we're about to come on top. Like, it's no longer you're a woman of color and you're at the bottom, because we're not going to allow it anymore. My mom said something. She said the boycott that exposed Rosa Parks to the world took 382 days before they got results. Yeah, it's going to take time. So I don't know if y'all feel empowered, but I am. Like, I'm gonna still put my voice. I'm standing up every day, and even with Bougie Girl, when I was telling Isis, we only been doing this 2 months, and I feel like we're finding people and telling stories and really empowering women, and that's our mission. If y'all don't know what Bougie Girl stands for, Bougie Girl stands for bold, one of a kind, unbothered by whatever people try to do to us. We're unbothered by it. We're God's girls. We're intentional and we're elegant while we're doing it. So that's what bougie mean. If you didn't, I don't think you knew that, Isis. But that's our mission here, is to grow us, grow women, make us strong, educate on every single topic. We've have people from different things, from skincare to mental health to everything, so we can learn and grow as a community and build each other up. And while we're doing that here on Bougie Girl, we need to figure out how we can do that in our community worldwide, not just America, but worldwide. Anything else you ladies like to say?
No, thank you for having me. It was a good discussion. Sorry I was a little late, but I'm glad
It's
I
okay. I knew you had something
got
to
it.
do.
Yes, yes. And it's nice to meet you, Isis.
It was nice meeting you too.
Yes.
Anything else you would like to say, Isis?
I just feel like if everybody wants to really be educated on what you're protesting out there, because like I said, it's not just about police brutality, like then you got it all wrong. Like for real, like educate yourself, talk to other people, non-minorities, see their experiences, even like drive around inner city hoods, volunteer for them, talk, be a part of the conversation, even listening and just like researching, reading, watching documentaries, like why is this happening?
Right.
It's very clear to see. Today, I was thinking about an experience that I had with my boys in the car. We were at a stoplight, and there was a young man in front of us, and I think that he was smoking a cigarette or something. And then there was a cop behind him, and I looked over and I could see the fear in his eyes, and it was just a horrible sight to see. And that shouldn't. It's just it's real, you know. And I know that, and I will say this, that I know that the cops are not all the same, But whatever it is, there's an oppression over the Black people, and it's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop.
So
Yeah.
comment the secret is organization. People must develop a
Mm-hmm.
plan to succeed in these movements. And she also said educate, communicate, and organize.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, like education. Once people are educated about what's going on, even in our own communities, like some of us don't know. And a lot of people that's looting and doing it, they're not educated. They don't know why. They just see an opportunity to do it. But they didn't know education and know why, why. I know that's they're angry, but they don't know because they're not educated on what's going on. They just see an opportunity. And communication, like we have to talk. Like even though I didn't grow up in the hood, why can't I talk to someone who did and understand? Like it starts with understanding in our own community too, because all of us did not grow up in the same thing. You know what I mean? We didn't grow up all the same, so we have to understand each other as well, and we need to understand each other before other people can actually understand us too. And then organize, like she said, and be proactive. But that was really good, guys. I hope y'all got a little bit out of it, got some stuff off your chest that you've been holding on for the last few days, and we'll see where all this goes. I would love to have y'all back. Maybe talk about a different discussion or just to have a little fun because and not something so serious. I really appreciate you guys for coming and agreeing to come on my platform. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Hi. uh,
Can't hear you in my ear.
oh, he waved.
It's Elijah.
I know that's Elijah.
Hi,
God,
Marley's
he
mom.
looked like Sam so much. He got so tall. I haven't seen him.
He said hi, Marley's mom.
Okay. But thank you
Mommy,
guys, everybody who's watching and gonna watch the replay.
mom,
Thank
why?
you for joining us. Thank you for commenting. We really appreciate you guys and share. Like, share, follow. Our goal is to get to 1,000 followers. So and so we can just have a bigger platform to kind of help people and um, heal our communities. That's pretty much. So share, tell everybody about us, about Bougie Girl. We have stuff going on every Friday. Occasionally we have stuff on Sundays. We call it the chit chat. So we have girls come on or men groups, whatever, and just chit chat about whatever. Mondays is our Healthy You Corner. So we're gonna be having people coming on or experts coming on to for we already had hair care. This past Monday we had vaginal and womb care. And then the next Monday we have a personal trainer to talk about the care of your body. So, and I'm still looking for people to fill up the other Mondays just so we can learn how to take care of ourselves and just be healthy all around. So just join us and stay tuned. And we are still working on getting our shirts out there. We had a little bit of hiccups here and then, but they will be coming soon that you can order and get our Bougie Girl shirts. I don't have it on, but I will flash it up so y'all can see how they look and ignore the message because it's old. So here's how the Bougie Girl looks, and it does say, I'm bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girls, intentional, and elegant bougie. And we have actually six other surprises. We have six other t shirt designs that we're going to be doing and releasing. So just stay tuned. Some great things are coming. And thanks again, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Have a great night,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.